Welcome to IMAX, the world's most immersive movie experience.
IMAX is the undisputed king in name recognition when it comes to premium movie viewing.
And get ready to enjoy an unparalleled movie experience.
The company set the gold standard in image size and sound with their theaters.
Imagine seeing it in IMAX. I think it would be breathtaking.
But a lot of you already knew that and are wondering if the quality is going to match the price of admission. In this video, I've got exclusive answers to your questions from IMAX themselves to help you decide if an IMAX ticket is worth paying for. Hi, I'm Isaac and this is Movie University. Please hit the subscribe button below. Why not? You're already here. This video is an update to one I did in 2017. I reached out to IMAX and they were helpful in some of the answers they gave me for this video. While I learned some new things about IMAX, my stance on the format is largely unchanged from my previous video. You've probably seen these blocky, square, blue letters passing by on the highway or when walking by the auditorium the last time you were at the movies. You probably did a Google search to see what the hype about IMAX was. If you haven't been to one before or it's been a while, you realize it would be cool to go, but you're thrown off by the price of admission. There are a slew of other premium formats out there. So what makes IMAX better or worse than them? Here are some facts to help you make up your mind if you want to see a movie in IMAX. Let's do a quick history lesson. It's easy to forget that IMAX or other premium formats weren't always the norm at theaters. IMAX was created in 1967 by 4 Canadian friends. They didn't have the money to produce movies, so they made nature documentaries. Eventually, they convinced museums to show their content in their format. As time went on, IMAX tried several ways to break into the mainstream movie theater market.
Deep Sea 3D. Dive in at your IMAX theater.
It wouldn't be until 2006 they finally figured out the best way. Agreements were made with movie theater companies for licensing, installation, and admission prices, which then saw IMAX begin to see some major expansion. In 2008, blockbuster movies like The Dark Knight, Star Trek Into Darkness made it a point to tell moviegoers that portions of the movie they were watching had been shot with IMAX cameras. However, it wouldn't be until 2009, with the explosive box office numbers from Avatar, that the movie theater industry would see IMAX and other premium formats as a driving force to get consumers to pay extra for premium viewings. Since its creation, IMAX has done well for itself. According to IMAX, at the end of 2019, there were 1,529 IMAX theaters in 81 countries. Now for the nitty-gritty. Here are 9 things to know about IMAX. Number 1. All of IMAX's projectors are built by IMAX themselves. This includes digital and film projectors. While IMAX uses certain technology from other manufacturers within the projector themselves, IMAX told me we manufacture, assemble, test, ship, and install all our projectors directly, and they heavily feature proprietary IMAX technology and IP to enhance image quality. With a lot of companies out there who make very extraordinary projectors, it's impressive that IMAX still builds its own. This does a couple of things for them. First, IMAX can get the exact specifications they want instead of having to rely on an outside agency to make it for them. Secondly, it ensures a level of quality control not just for the company, but also for the consumer. When you watch a movie in IMAX, this is the way the company wants you to see it, and consequently, how some movie directors want you to see it. Nothing has been changed, degraded, or manipulated to get it to fit a certain way on screen. The last part being important because some directors like Christopher Nolan, J.J. Abrams, James Cameron, and Michael Bay are very particular with shooting with IMAX cameras and work hand in hand with the company to reproduce their vision on screen. When asked, IMAX did not provide me with contrast ratios, brightness abilities, or the amount of colors their projectors can display. Number 2. Screen ratios. IMAX is unique in that its iconic 70mm film format shows images in the blocky 1:43:1 ratio. In my video on the history of home media, I explain why the old style of square video came and went. A link to that video is in the description below. Needless to say, the sensors in IMAX cameras are formatted differently than traditional cameras. Yes, you could zoom in or out, or put black bars on the sides or top and bottom to make an image look a certain way, But having a bigger sensor allows you to capture more detail at the desired distance without having to manipulate an image in a particular way, which can make you lose detail or change how the image is taken in by the audience. IMAX newest projectors, IMAX with laser, are capable of showing images in the 1:43:1 square ratio. In a non-IMAX theater, these IMAX shot sequences will have their images chopped off at the top and bottom. Number 3. As you'd expect, IMAX is about the visual experience of a movie, hence the name Image Maximum. But you probably thought IMAX meant this. IMAX film captures at 18K, which is more than any digital camera can capture today to my knowledge. Now, just because the film can capture detail that high doesn't mean you're always going to see all of it on screen. Movies like Star Trek Into Darkness, The Dark Knight, Wonder Woman 1984, Interstellar, or No Time to Die have select scenes shot with IMAX film cameras. These film negatives are scanned into a computer at 8K resolution and then finished at around 4 to 6K. Even though the entertainment industry touts the 4K and now 8K banners heavily, a lot of movies are finished in 4K, with a surprising number still being finished in 2K even to this day. This can be due to a number of reasons. IMAX told me if the movie is shot digitally in 6K or 8K, it's also often challenging to finish visual effects in time at 4K due to budgetary and timing constraints. Regardless of what format you see a movie in, chances are the detail you're seeing at the theater and at home is significantly cut down from what's coming out of the camera. Even IMAX's new laser projectors only show detail up to 4K in the theater. Number 4. There is another trade-off with shooting an IMAX film. Because the cost of post-production effects at high quality can be expensive, IMAX's 70mm film is very pricey, both in terms of production and in the final product. IMAX cameras are heavy, loud, take extra time to reload film, and have limited mounting options on camera rigs. On our end of the movie spectrum, to show in theaters is pricey. A 2013 Harvard Business Review article stated the 70mm IMAX film prints were $30,000 for one movie and required a forklift to move the movie prints into the projection room. Lowering the price to show movies with the IMAX name was key to expanding the format in the last several years. Instead of $30,000 prints for IMAX film, IMAX digital movies cost around $150 to show in theaters and are a matter of plug and play for the staff. Like I said before, in the last few years, IMAX has done some team-up with movie directors to use IMAX digital films. IMAX has partnered with Arri to build custom cameras that are IMAX approved. While great, they're no substitute for the film versions. Because IMAX has such a draw with its name, some movie studios instead try to get an IMAX certification. Such is the case with Top Gun Maverick. Director Joseph Kosinski and his team put 6 Sony Venice cameras inside the cockpit of an FA-18 Hornet. Each camera records at 6K. The images for each individual camera are pulled together to create the 1:43:1 aspect ratio and quality. That means it achieves the aspect ratio and resolution and demands of IMAX's post-production facilities. Number 5. How big are IMAX screens? This is where things start to get really tricky. A real IMAX screen is going to be at least 75 feet tall, with the tallest IMAX screen ever made in Sydney, Australia at around 117 feet tall. Unfortunately, it's gone now. Other premium formats top out at around 50 feet, and this is where IMAX digital screens fit in as well. These are sometimes called LIMAX theaters because you're paying for the premium of the IMAX name, but not getting the same screen size as the older gigantic IMAX theaters. One thing IMAX does differently from its competitors at some locations is decrease the legroom in the theater, therefore bringing viewers closer to the screen, giving the illusion the screen is bigger. Number 6. As of January 8th, 2020, there are only 99 IMAX theaters in the world capable of showing their amazing 15 Perforations 70mm IMAX film. The 70mm describes the size of the film cell. To give you some context, a lot of older TV shows and movies were filmed with 35mm film. The 15 Perforations is unique to IMAX film. While some other companies can show 70mm film, to my knowledge, only IMAX shows movies in the 15 Perforations format. What are perforations, you ask? Those are the little holes on the sides of the film where the sprockets on the projector fit into. The more holes there are, the longer or wider the film cell can be, thus making it bigger. longer or wider because IMAX film travels through the projector sideways, unlike conventional film projectors that push film up and down. Number 7. I asked IMAX about their sound systems, a point that has audiences split, with me in the camp with those who don't care for IMAX's audio systems. Here is what IMAX told me, and we'll dissect. IMAX theaters use proprietary IMAX sound technology, which is higher powered than other audio systems while being able to go a full octave lower in sub-bass response. IMAX also deploys daily calibrations of every theater to ensure reference volume playback so audiences are hearing the movie exactly the way filmmakers intended. The IMAX 12.0 audio format includes 4 discrete overhead speakers and additional sound surrounds along with a high center channel. And with our large sound systems and speakers, IMAX can produce a bigger and better sound experience all around. There are several takeaways here besides the pop shot they just took at their competitor. Like their projectors, IMAX sound systems are custom built. That's great in terms of IMAX trying to pass on quality from filmmakers to audiences like ourselves. However, that last paragraph doesn't impress me. Lots of power to speakers is great. More power produces louder and clearer audio, but louder isn't always better. There is a tipping point when things are too loud. That's why hearing protection is a thing. IMAX exerts so much control over its systems that if you ask an attendant at the theater to turn the volume down a few decibels, and they do, the technicians at the IMAX Network Operations Center will be notified and they will return the audio to previous levels. For the foreseeable future, IMAX intends to stick with its 12-track mix for its movies and not converting to Auro 3D, Dolby Atmos, or DTS:X. The response I received from IMAX also took a pop shot at Dolby by saying, the IMAX sound format is also different than Dolby and features higher powered and cleaner amplification and a full octave lower sub-bass response. The filmmaker's audio team creates a special IMAX sound format mix to take advantage of our better sound systems, which are also calibrated every day to ensure they are playing back at reference volume intended by the filmmakers. Like I said, I don't equate louder with better. I can turn the volume up and down in my speaker system, and before long, it'll start to hurt my ears or distort the sound coming out of it. Discrete channel audio is a tried and proven form of surround sound, but today's sound formats like Dolby Atmos and DTS:X use object-based audio to replicate more lifelike audio when watching a movie. Number 8. While you may not notice it, another aspect that makes a good movie-going experience is the screen quality a movie is projected on and the sound insulation in the walls to prevent audio bleed-through. While some companies like Alamo Drafthouse were very open to me about how they ensure this type of fidelity, IMAX chooses to keep these details close to the chest and instead gave me this answer. All IMAX theaters are custom designed and built to optimize the viewing and audio experience using IMAX technology and also feature custom designed screens. While we cannot comment specifically on that proprietary design, it does involve the theater geometry and materials used, and we work with exhibitors when designing sound acoustics to ensure that our theaters meet IMAX standards. Number 9, and probably the biggest contention with me and some other movie buffs. Movies captured on digital and then shown through IMAX's digital projectors go through a process called a digital media remaster, or DMR for short. IMAX told me that movies with IMAX cameras undergo a process where the film is even further optimized and specially formatted for us from its inception to completion. And I'm talking about digitally here, not the film. Without giving me any details on how this works or what makes this better when I specifically asked, I'd have to say that this is just a marketing ploy to get you in their seats. What quote-unquote optimization are you talking about? Every theater chain out there calibrates their equipment to show movies as best as possible on their system, so what does IMAX do different? Lack of details here doesn't fill me with confidence on IMAX digital systems. Now this is a lot of info and I'll try to summarize. While I'm personally not a huge fan of IMAX because of how it's watered down its own brand with hundreds of LIMAX locations, there is no denying that IMAX has propelled premium movie viewing forward in a huge way since its inception, and the company has done some out-of-this-world work with filmmakers. Literally. Digital and laser projectors allow the company to bring the cost down and stay competitive with other companies out there, while still pushing their name onto the market. I don't like the fact that digital IMAX theaters are smaller than their older film ones, but I understand the need for cost-saving measures to stay competitive.
IMAX knows it needs to stay competitive in the business of premium theaters because a lot of other companies are stepping up their game. Hence this couple of sentences in their 2019 SEC filing.
How can you find a real IMAX theater near you? I asked IMAX, and apparently they don't keep a list on file that's readily available for the public, and instead want you to go to their website and plug in your location to see if the theater you're going to has one. I got a better way for you. Go to lfexaminer.com for a complete list of every IMAX theater in the world. The site will let you sort by country, state, format, and type. A link to the page is in the description below. Look for the 1570 designation, which will tell you if the theater can show movies in IMAX's 70mm film format. Now, the big answer. Should you go see a movie in IMAX, even if it's IMAX with laser? Like any good spokesperson would say, it all depends. If you see advertisements like this stating parts of the movie was shot with IMAX film, absolutely go see the movie at an IMAX location, any of them. That little extra bit of footage on screen might be worth it to you, especially if the price of seeing the movie in Regal RPX and IMAX with laser are the same. The additional footage shown in the taller aspect ratio will justify the price of the visit. While film has seen a small resurgence in recent years, a large majority of movies and television shows use digital cameras. Digital cameras provide a cleaner image, have fewer moving parts, are easier to work with, and require less logistical coordination. However, seeing a movie in film does have a magical look to it that's hard to replicate with digital, even when it's been manipulated in post-production. Paying the extra price to see movies at real IMAX locations helps prove to studios that people love the art of film, not to mention the nostalgia that comes along with seeing movies in film, and we're willing to pay a little extra to see it in a premium format. Also, you'll be helping Kodak stay in business since barely anybody buys film anymore. However, IMAX's lack of transparency in how their projectors compare to the competition, their older style discrete channel audio versus object-based audio, and overly loud systems and shift to smaller theater screens and sometimes old facilities doesn't jive with me. Except for those rare instances of movies shot on IMAX film or sometimes IMAX digital cameras like Avengers Infinity War, you'll be better off paying to see movies in a different format. Movies like Ford vs. Ferrari, 1917, and many others will look and sound just as good or better in Dolby Cinema, Regal RPX, or any other equivalent in your country.
The images speak so much louder in Dolby Vision. You know, I was absolutely blown away by the depth and the sense of texture, how black the blacks are, you know, that we were looking at skies, Roger Deakins and I, that we thought we knew, and then suddenly you see detail and, you know, cloud formations that simply you don't see in the other versions. So that has been a real eye-opener for me.
Links in my explanations on those formats are in the description below. If your choices are between a standard movie room or an IMAX with laser, then of course, choose the IMAX with laser to see your movie in. IMAX isn't sticking with movies though. They think to deal with Vindex to start broadcasting esports in their format. They've expanded to home viewing with their line of IMAX Enhanced certified home entertainment products, and had their best year at the box office in 2019 with over $1.1 billion in ticket sales. IMAX also told me they're expanding a lot, particularly in the international market. What do you guys think of IMAX? Have you seen any big name movies in the film format? Is it available in your country? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more education in cinema at Movie University.